Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the delay on getting this up, not until Monday. My daughter and I were pretty under the weather over the weekend. You might be able to hear it in my voice throughout this video, but we are on the mend. So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking through a bunch of brands that I've seen at Target a million times, or some brands that are newer to Target and that I wanted to just pick up. They're not your L'Oreal, Milani, e.l.f. products, but some brands that are not talked about a whole lot. So we've got the Lip Bar, Arches and Halos, Undone Beauty, and Jason Wu all in this video. And this just kind of scrapes the surface of all the different brands that Target has picked up. So if this interests you and you want to see some more of these less talked about brands, definitely give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. This first product is from Undone Beauty, and a little bit about Undone Beauty. They say that their mission is clean, vegan, cruelty-free, multitasking makeup that's actually affordable, so you can look amazing with less. Our skin-loving solutions enhance your beauty while nourishing with proven natural ingredients. I've seen a lot of comparisons between Undone Beauty and Glossier, so this is kind of a similar vibe to Glossier. You can use it with your hands. It's meant to be very natural and just enhance your natural beauty. They have two different skin products that I saw. They have one which is called the Glow Tint, and then this one is called the UnFoundation Matte Tint. I don't typically go for matte, but this was the newer of the two, so I thought I would try this one because I haven't seen a whole lot of reviews on it in case any of you were curious about it. This retails for $14. It's a light coverage foundation that reflects light to blur imperfections. Matte, radiant, natural looking finish, and infused with tea tree oil for blemish and oil control. So this is really good for those of you with oily skin, and I have used this product a couple of times and I found it's not super drying for being a matte product. It says you can apply this with a brush, a sponge, or your fingers. I've tried my fingers and a sponge, so I'm gonna try it with a brush today. It does have a slight smell to it. It doesn't smell like a fragrance. Let me see if there's a fragrance listed on the ingredients. I don't see any fragrance listed in the ingredients list, so I'm guessing that's the tea tree oil that I'm smelling. That's kind of what it smells like. And if I didn't mention, I got the shade Soft Beige Medium. So it's definitely very, very light coverage, which is fine. That's what it claims to be. But even with a brush, it's light. So I'm gonna see if I can build it up just a little bit because I've got some redness going on from all my nose blowing. Super cute. And as I'm applying it, it feels really hydrating. It doesn't feel like your typical matte foundation. It feels super hydrating on the skin. It feels almost cooling on the skin. The shade is a little bit lighter than what I would anticipate for a medium beige color. I think I probably could have gone darker, but with a formula like this and coverage like this, you really don't need a perfect shade match because it's gonna sheer out anyway. So I think that's about how much coverage I'm gonna get out of this. I really like the way that it feels. Like I said, it feels really hydrating. It feels moisturizing, even though it has these oil control ingredients and blemish fighting ingredients. It's a little bit tacky still, but I know from the other times that I tried it that it does dry down. It's not super buildable, so you are getting a light sheer to light coverage with this. So this is really good for just everyday, throw it on for a slight evening of the skin tone, but this isn't gonna give you foundation level coverage or even like BB level coverage. All right, now I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of my Flower Beauty concealer. Undone also has a concealer that after trying a few of these products, I definitely want to check out, but I didn't want to test too many different skin products at once because you'll see I have two other skin products from Undone to try in this video. And it gets kind of muddy and hard to tell what product is doing what, and if I don't like something, which product it is that I don't like. So I try not to test too many skin coverage products at the same time. All right, next up we've got two very interesting sounding products. They have a water bronzer and a water highlighter. They look like this. They immediately reminded me of the CoverGirl. I can't remember the name, I'll link it down below, but the little CoverGirl highlighter sticks, just in size and price. These are both $10 and come with just those little bitty amounts. So I'm gonna start with the water bronzer. It says it's an innovative water-based technology that softly melts into the skin. Ultra blendable for a bronzed look, no streaks, no lines, no mistakes. It says to use for contouring, bronzing, or just a sheer wash of color, and infused with coconut water for an added glow. I chose the shade 210 Baked. It was really hard to choose the shade online because they all look like this. They all look like they're gonna be much darker than they are when you swatch them. So I've only used this once and I can't say I loved it. So I'm gonna give it another try and see what I think. I'm just gonna go in straight onto the face, and it really does feel like water. I'm gonna take that same brush that I used for applying the foundation and just blend it out. So the reason I didn't love it last time is I felt like it really disturbed the foundation I had underneath, but I was not wearing the Undone foundation. I tried this with a foundation that I already know and love, and I felt like it did kind of go on streaky on top of that foundation. But on top of this one, I'm not seeing that, so I wonder if it's just the way that these two products work together that makes it go on a lot more seamless. I'm just gonna take this also along my hairline. It's doing a good job of warming up the skin in a very natural way. You can't really overdo it with this. And even after it dries down, I can go over it with a little bit more without it disturbing what's underneath, but I don't notice that it's getting a whole lot darker. I think like this is the shade you're gonna get. It's not super buildable. So it just added a really natural warmth to the skin. It feels like I have absolutely nothing on my face at this point. Between this really light coverage foundation and that watery bronzer, it feels like I have nothing on. And then next up is their water highlighter, which I'm really excited about. Again, I had the same experience with this one on top of that same foundation that I was using, which was the new Physicians Formula Maru Maru Butter Believe It foundation. That was the one I was testing these on. This kind of rubbed off the foundation, but that could be just because it's a much fuller coverage foundation, whereas on top of this, it's really just kind of skin on skin. So this retails again for $10, uses that water-based technology to melt into the skin for a natural looking glow. It says you can highlight with a sheer, ultra blendable, ultra buildable formula, and then it's also infused with coconut water for an added glow. One thing I also noticed about this one is that it has a little bit of shimmer. This is the shade 250 Rose Water. And I'm gonna use my finger to just tap that in. So I feel like I'm having the same experience right now, I don't know if you guys can see, with this highlighter that I did the first time, except it's kind of rubbing off the bronzer instead of the foundation. Now I have this line right here, kind of a streak between the highlighter and the bronzer from where I just applied that. So I think on the other side, I'm just gonna apply some to my finger and put that on instead of going straight from the tube. Yeah, again, I feel like it's rubbing off the bronzer, and it also has little specks of glitter in it. So I didn't like this the first time I used it, and I'm definitely not liking it this time. I think of the two really innovative, cool formulas, I would go with the bronzer, and I'm actually gonna just put a little bit more to cover what I just messed up with that highlighter. All right, next up from Undone, we have the Lip to Cheek palette, 325 Flare. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, I've been trying this and I love this. Out of all of the products from Undone that I have tried, this is, yes. It's a cream blush that you can also use on your eyes and your lips, as it's kind of called, 3-in-1. It's a lot more pigmented than, say, the e.l.f. Putty Blush or the Honest Blush. It's super pigmented. But I find that a lot of the times the ones that say they're 3-in-1 aren't pigmented enough to be worn on the lips. And this is like a true lip balm, and it really adds a lot of pigment to your lips. So I think the level of pigment that's in this product is the reason that it works so well on the lips and on the cheeks. So a little bit goes a very long way. Like, I tapped my brush in and you can see it's enough to get through both cheeks and give you a really blushy look. I have another product I want to use on my lips today, so I'm not going to put it on my lips. But just know I've done it before and it looks beautiful. All right, next up is a palette by a newer brand at Target, and it's called Jason Wu. And a little bit about the Jason Wu brand, I read an article with InStyle where he was interviewed kind of talking about the brand. And it says, this beauty collection is the opposite of a contoured look. It's about products that are multi-purpose and revealing beauty versus covering it up. I've always believed less is more, and I love that this collection encompasses every shade of nude under the spectrum. It's inclusive for every face and skin tone and doesn't just represent one type of beauty. All products are under $25, and it is at Target as well as on their website. When I first shared that I was trying this brand on Instagram, I had a few people comment and say, oh, that's just repackaged NYX, and that's what a lot of people have been saying. I recently watched a video by Jen Love kind of debunking that myth. The rumor started because the founder of NYX Cosmetics was involved in Jason Wu Beauty as well, so people were thinking that it was kind of copying the formula. But NYX has been sold to L'Oreal and she is no longer formulating those products. Jen did a really good comparison of ingredients across all kinds of similar products, and there were very little similarities. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there in case any of you have heard the same. So I got the Jason Wu Beauty Flora 9 eyeshadow palette. This comes in 3 different shade ranges. I chose the shade Prickly Pear. The matte one was totally sold out. But what I was surprised about when I got this in the mail was that this center shade, this really deep brown, is the only matte shade in the palette. So you've got all of these shimmers and just one matte shade. That's a pretty bold shade. It's not exactly a transition color. So I feel like you kind of have to pair this with a bronzer or something else that you can use in the crease as a transition, and I don't love that about this palette. This is one of the last products in this video to arrive, so I haven't actually used it yet. So I'm gonna go in with my Eco Tools eyeshadow brush, and I think I'm gonna choose this gold shade right here and put this all over my lid. Oh wow. Even when applied with a brush, that went on pretty. I thought I was gonna have to go in with my fingers. It's usually the case with shimmery eyeshadows, but this is very pigmented, almost metallic. Really, really pretty. I'm gonna take a little bit of this bronzy shade as well, just over top of that, because I want to use a couple other shades since this is my first time using this. That just kind of deepened it up a little bit, made it a little bit warmer. Very pretty. This isn't kind of what I expect when I read about a brand that's saying that they just want to enhance natural beauty. This is like a glam look, so between my like super natural skin and my glittery eyes, this look doesn't really go together, but we're just gonna go with it. And I'm just gonna steal this transition color right here from my Juvia's Place Nubian palette, so I feel like this look needs something besides a super deep brown. So I don't love that I'm having to go into another palette. I like cohesive palettes, but the shimmers are beautiful. And now I'm gonna take this deep brown and use this as my liner. I'm gonna apply it with this Essence Precise eyeliner brush, and just so I can keep the look a little bit more effortless and natural with the liner by using a shadow instead of like a liquid liner. I'm gonna wing it out just a little bit to extend the eye. Same thing over here. And even though my brows are driving me nuts, I do want to stick with Jason Wu and use the other couple products that I have before moving on to the brow product that I'm trying. So for lips, I have the Jason Wu Beauty Stay in Line Lip Liner Pencil. This retails for $9.99, and I got the shade Leave Me Alone. This is infused with vitamin E and jojoba seed oil. I really like the shade of this pencil. I've actually been wearing this on its own because I really love the color, and the formula on this is really creamy. It's not one of those lip liners that kind of tug on your lip. It's, like I said, really creamy, almost gel-like. The color is beautiful, so I definitely have been reaching for that a lot. And then the lipstick that I got is in the shade Canolli. This Hot Fluff lipstick retails for $11.99. It's matte and it claims to be multi-use, to be used on the lips, on the cheeks, and on the eyes. Love a good multi-use product. I've been going in with just a little bit of this, and it's a really creamy, smooth, matte formula. It does not feel drying at all. I do think that both the lipstick and the eyeshadow palette are pretty up there in terms of price point, but I do think that the lipstick is a standout product. I'm gonna see, because I have not yet tried to put this on my cheeks. I'm gonna see if I can put a little bit right over the Undone Beauty one and see what that looks like. Oh, that blends a lot easier than I thought it would, given that it's a matte formula. Ooh, that's really pretty. And while I'm at it, why not just take a little bit on the crease up here too. Really just tie the whole look together. So definitely my favorite product from Jason Wu that I've tried so far. All right, next let's get something going on with these brows, please. For my brows, I've chosen the Arches and Halos Professional Brow by Tanya Crooks. This is a microblading brow pen. This retails for $12.99, and a little bit about the brand. Tanya Crooks is one of the foremost eyebrow stylists in the world, and she's come out with this brow collection so that everyone can do her amazing brows at home. With the Arches and Halos collection of brow grooming, shaping, filling, and defining tools, you can be assured that the product is the highest professional quality. So this brand does one thing, and that is brows, so you'd hope that they do it well. So I have tried this a couple of times, and very similar to the last microblading brow product that I tried, I felt the exact same way. I didn't feel like this was something that I could fill my whole brows in with. It's something that I kind of feel you can do finishing touches on with areas where you need those hair-like strokes. But filling the whole brow in like that just didn't give me the finish that I wanted. So I'm just taking my NYX brow pencil to get the shape down, and then I'm going to do detail work with that Arches and Halos brow pen. Okay, so I've got the general shape, and now I'm gonna go in with this microblading pen kind of right here in the center where I want to fill in some gaps, but I don't want it to look like I've done that. I've used this a couple of times before, and I felt like a good amount of product was coming out, but right now I'm having trouble getting it to show up. I'm just gonna shake it a little bit. Yeah, it's barely there. You can't really see it, and for some reason it's not showing up as well as it was the first time I used it. So I don't think this is terrible, but at least in my experience it's a little bit inconsistent, so I think there are better options out there. But I definitely want to try other products from that brand. I have another lip product that I have been trying because I had too many lip products to try in this video. I'll layer just a little bit on top of the Jason Wu lipstick, but this is the Lip Bar. This is a really cool brand. It's a vegan, cruelty-free beauty brand that exists to help change the way you think about beauty. Everyday people are being told how to be beautiful, so we're here to remind you that you don't have to change. You are enough. If you guys saw my video where I talked about what trends I hope to see in 2021 in terms of beauty messaging, these brands all kind of speak to that, where it's just like be yourself and enhance your natural beauty. So I didn't even plan it this way, but I'm glad to see that that is becoming a common message. Real quick background on this is Melissa Butler is actually the founder of this brand, and she started making these lipsticks in her kitchen and ended up taking it on Shark Tank and getting rejected, like a pretty harsh rejection from Shark Tank saying she would not be successful, and here she is at Target. So I love a good Cinderella story. These retail for $12.99, claim to be silky smooth, very similar to a gloss before drying down, fully matte, but they won't dry your lips out, and that has been my experience with this formula. It's really thin and non-drying but long-lasting. Just gonna deepen the lip color a little bit with this shade. And then I realized that I did not mention the other Undone Beauty product that I had, which is their mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that and tell you a little bit about it. This is their Indielash mascara, retails for $10 with a 4-way brush to cleanly separate and build. Builds lash by lash from root to tip. Buildable lightweight gel formula, plumps and lengthens. It's also infused with castor oil for lash nourishment and conditioning. Okay, so I just did it again. A little bit about this mascara in my experience is I really like the formula. It's a thicker formula, it's a drier formula, it's everything that I want out of a mascara. But this wand, you guys, is a death trap. I have almost poked my eyeball out every time I've used this mascara. I have not yet figured out how you're supposed to use this wand. It's super pointy on two sides and then flat on another side. So I've been trying to just use the flat side, but then if I accidentally tilt my brush in too far, I poke my eye with the pointy side. So I really like the formula. I really like that it has castor oil in it, but this wand is challenging, although the formula makes it worth wanting to try to figure out. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that brown eyeshadow on my lower lash line. And those are all the products I wanted to try. Not my favorite makeup look because we had all these random things to try and put on my face all at once, but I hope you found getting to see these products in action helpful. I think the standouts for me, like the can't miss products from this video, are these two multitasking products, the Jason Wu lipstick and the Undone Beauty 3-in-1 Lipped Cheek Palette. Both absolutely stunning products and really multifunctional. So those definitely stand out to me. I think the biggest disappointments are the Undone Beauty highlighter with that glitter in it and the fact that it removed the makeup I had underneath it. This microblading pen that dried up on me right as I was filming this. And we'll see how it wears, but I wasn't blown away by this Jason Wu eyeshadow palette the way that I thought I would be. Like I said, I'll keep playing with it. That I could change my mind, but for the $14.99 price tag with the amount of product you're getting, I can't say that I would choose this over like a ColourPop eyeshadow palette or an e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. I just wasn't, like I said, blown away. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did and you want to see more about these less talked about brands from Target or other retailers. Definitely let me know with your thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and I will see you guys in my next one.